Twitter, twitter.com/LaLaLandTalk. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live.
And we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show, GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes under R&B or watch us live on Ustream TV. We are reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. We're more than just talk. We're heaven's party here on earth.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the world's most dangerous show. This is the return of the Marijualogist.
Yes.
In our new time slot, with Saturdays every 4 p.m. You know, we were talking last week amongst the hosts of the show. Should we start it at 4:20? Should we start it at 4 o'clock? We decided, I think, to start it at 4 so we can give you as much information that we can between 4 and 5:30. And we will take a 4:20 moment to give you some historical facts about the impact of cannabis on Los Angeles, on California, on the globe, in so many states these days. The Marijualogist explores the social, economic, political, and medicinal impact of cannabis on our globe. Welcome back to the Marijualogist. For all you longtime listeners, you know, I want to welcome our co-host and co-producer of the show today, and as all week long, well, all month long, every time, we've got the one and only E. Corder Wolf.
Yes.
You might know him from stage and screen, from famous movies, and also from his own show, The Wolf's Den, first Fridays every month, 10 p.m. Pacific time here on the world leader in internet broadcasts. That's LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. Welcome back, mi brother.
Yes, sire.
You feeling irie?
Muy irie.
Different language.
Speaking Spanish and Jamaican. Muy irie.
Muy irie, really. Okay.
That's that Jamaican,
Spanish
Jamaican.
Word, that's what it is? Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the Marijualogist do.
It's all good. So anyway, what's going on, man? We got our man Mike Bond, the secret agent of the Marijualogist show, who is on assignment this week, so he could not be here.
Exactly.
So it's you and me holding it down for about an hour or so.
We can do that with our green cross tees on.
Word
we can
to
definitely
motherland.
do that.
You see, I'm wearing mine today.
Definitely sporting mine, matching
Looking
the mic.
proper. Yeah, man, I see that
Matching
over
the
there.
mic.
Yeah. It's real irie. So, Ecor, as you all well know, aside from, again, having his own show here on LA Talk Live called The Wolf's Den, first Friday every month, 10 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. sometimes.
Sometimes 10.
Right, well, you never know.
Depending on how the show goes.
But he's also our man on the street, and he is out there interacting with the collectives, the compassionate caregivers, those great places where we can avail ourselves of free and legal access. So, my brother, tell me what's going on out there in the world of cannabis.
Well, it's a movement going on, you know, and for all the recreational heads, all the medicinal heads, I mean, it's a movement going on, and it's about time we all partake in it and get with the movement, because it's actually saving lives. It's actually enhancing lives in many ways. You can do your research, and this one particular plant has over like 40 different elements and medicinal elements that are involved in this plant. And it's just, I mean, from stress relievers to glaucoma to cancer patients, HIV AIDS patients, you name it, that this particular plant actually caters to ailments, you know, in our body. And this is a beautiful thing, man. You know, it's once upon a time that people were just doing it recreationally, which is still a good thing because once they found out what it does and what it, you know, what it can do to you, it makes you feel euphoric. I never known anybody to actually jump off a building or commit suicide or go, you know, take their baby's last little pennies out their bank to go, you know, purchase marijuana, because it's really not that much of an urgency where how crack and any synthetic man-made drug that they place on the streets will do to a family, to do to a person. You know what I'm saying? And I just, you know, if anything, the marijuana going to make you want to eat. It might make you forget about a beef you had. You know, just relaxation. I call it the peace drug, you know, or the peace plant, I should say. Not drug, the peace plant.
Well, the fact of the matter is medicinal cannabis, recreational use or otherwise, has a less deleterious impact on the human body than does any other substance that typically is prescribed by doctors and or big pharma, meaning that the side effects of the use of cannabis are minimal.
Very minimal.
Makes you relaxed, maybe makes you lazy, makes you hungry, makes you want to eat. Makes you think, makes you more creative.
Exactly.
There are no known recorded overdoses on the
ODs.
use of cannabis.
No OD.
No overdoses ever recorded in the history of mankind and his or her interaction with cannabis.
Right.
Never an overdose. You don't even hear about people crashing their cars using cannabis.
Now, they're attempting to create a scare tactic with the, what is it, driving while high, DWH.
Well, yeah, driving while under the influence.
You know, they want to create the scare, but, you know, they started coming up with these particular numbers saying that these people are being involved in accidents, that they tested them, that they were under marijuana. But I'm like, are you serious? You still don't hear about it after I heard about it that one particular time. You don't hear about it like it's like there's some emergency going on right now. You know, a national call out for.
It just doesn't happen much very often that people wind up in traffic situations wherein cannabis has been the compromising substance that has caused them to arrive at that situation.
Exactly.
Now, that said, aside from the stats that prove there's no known overdoses in the entire history history of mankind and womankind using cannabis, as far as it dates back in its interaction and use by humankind, let's just say.
Some people use it for spiritual enlightenment.
I will also proffer, though, and it's important to state that as a medicine, you should not partake in any strenuous activity.
Exactly.
Nor should you be under the influence of cannabis and be in control of heavy-duty equipment.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Meaning that if you're driving, if you're at work and feel like you just want to take a toke before you
Get on the line, work.
You know, get behind the wheel of a backhoe or a big dump truck, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Typically, cannabis is going to make you want to chill at the house and lay on the couch and maybe have something to eat or maybe become creative, depending on what strain of cannabis you're using.
True.
But I say to you, as a marijualogist, I am not the marijualogist. I am a marijualogist.
There's several.
Marijuanaologist. You, in fact, are now a marijualogist. Marijuanaologist. Break the words down. The study of this incredible plant that grows naturally from the earth. Now, that said, you still, because it is a medicine, should not be involved with driving, operating heavy equipment, or any of that stuff, no more than if you took a little dose of NyQuil because you have a cold,
Right.
and now you're going to bed.
Right.
Don't do it. don't smoke and drive.
Do not do it.
What you're referencing is buzzed driving,
Mm-hmm.
which could be just a shot of wine, and now you're on the road and you're slightly impaired. All medications come with virtually all medications.
The moniker.
Disclaimer. The disclaimer that you should not handle heavy equipment
machinery
while under the influence of this particular medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also true of cannabis. So
that may cause drowsiness and all those.
Any of that stuff.
Dizziness.
Let's keep it real sensible
Keep
here.
it professional, ladies and gentlemen, with
exactly
morality.
What we have to do. What else is going on the streets? Ecor the Wolf, Man on the Street.
Oh, man.
What's going on out there in the collectives? I know you're spreading the word about the Green Cross T-shirt line.
Definitely doing that.
Working with some new athletes. We won't
Yeah.
mention any names just yet. We'll talk about that as that evolves.
Right.
Tell us what's going on out there in the world of medical cannabis.
Well, of course, dispensaries are steady popping up, and I guess everybody's becoming more compliant and crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's. A lot of them been shut down as well, and you can tell the caliber of the ones that's been shut down in the locations where they've been. Apparently they were like running a spot or something like that. But if at this point, ladies and gentlemen, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right.
Let's do it right.
Let's do it right.
For the patient's sake, at least.
For the patient's sake, exactly. That's why I have this Green Cross shirt on right now, because it represents a movement. This is a medicinal movement. This is not so much as, oh, he got the weed. Oh, you work at a dispensary? None of that. Even though
is that what you're getting now?
Yeah, I get that because I'm out there in the street,
Yeah.
and I'm a walking billboard because I have to promote the company that I created. So,
and bearing in mind, let's make that very clear for folks. This is your line of clothing that you yourself have invented and developed to represent patient rights and advocacy for safe and legal access to medicinal cannabis. Not just here in L.A.
Nope.
Not just here in California.
Nope. Abroad.
Globally.
Right. Because it's a movement. A person can actually wear this shirt. A kid can wear this shirt. And
it's a green cross.
It's a green cross. It's like a red cross, a blue cross. It's medicinal. That's what crosses our denotes, our medicine, medical. But anyone can wear this shirt actually, because even a person who doesn't even partake, smoke trees, marijuana, ganja, however you want to call it. There are people who don't even smoke but can still wear this shirt because the fact that it saved my grandmother, it saved my auntie, my sister, my brother. And I want to wear it because I support the cause, because it hasn't hurt anyone, but it has helped people throughout the history of time. So this shirt is more universal than anything. And you can also wear it and not be ashamed, because you have to really be like a hippie type or hip person, to wear the weed leaf, like Willie Nelson style or them kind of guys,
Word.
But
don't even have to go that far.
Anybody can wear this shirt.
Representing patient advocacy.
Basic, bottom line.
For safe and legal access to the medicine of their choice.
Exactly.
That's the broader, overarching question that we undertake here on The Marijualogist.
And it's a conversation piece, because every time I step out in the streets with it on, and I wear it like a lot because I have to promote it. I don't have a staff right now, but I do have people wearing it. I have definitely the Marijualogist.
Got mine on today.
Got his on right now.
Word.
Got a couple celebrities rocking it. Definitely the streets, neighborhood people. So it's getting out there.
Believe it or not, man, we've already arrived at the 420 mark, and we've got to take our 420 break.
We got to do that.
When we come back, we'll talk about the history of the reference of 420. We're about to take a 420 break. On the comeback, we're going to play a little clip from LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition.
Yeah.
Huge supporters of The Marijualogist. They've been regular guests on this show in our legacy, speaking truth to the issue of safe and legal access to cannabis throughout California and the globe. Going to play a little clip on the comeback, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about where the concept of 420 comes from. We're going to be doing this every week on The Marijualogist, every Saturday, 4 p.m. We're not going to start the show at 4:20. We're going to start the show at 4, and we're going to take a 4:20 break. No, we're not going to sit around and smoke.
Nope.
Because we're on the air. We've got work to do. We've got heavy equipment to operate.
Exactly. We have professionalism.
So we're not
to
doing
be.
that. We're just going to take a break. Y'all stay tuned. The Marijualogist will be right back.
So smoke to that while you rolling up.
Indeed.
In 420
we'll be right back.
time.
Yes,
y'all.
indeed.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams, and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk Live. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances. We're just live. Chef Momo, Erica Ash, and once again, your host, Shaquem Williams. So come join every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock.
Hi, this is Sequoia Neff.
And this is Jay Rios.
And I'm Sharon Moore.
Inviting you to join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Battle of the Sexes as we discuss his and her views on topics no one wants to touch.
Where we keep it 100% real.
And interesting.
And it is pure comedy.
So don't forget to tune in to Battle of the Sexes Mondays at 7 p.m.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello world, how you living? This is D Brex, your host of the all-new rap project here on LA Talk Live. That's latalklive.com, or you can find me on iTunes Radio in the R&B section. That's the Rap Project, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. West Coast time, so don't be late. On the Rap Project, I will be playing the very best of rap and hip-hop that goes beyond the ordinary. So connect with me, your host, D Brax, the rap connoisseur, on The Rap Project every Wednesday at 7, right here on latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk.
LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk.
Drugs has absolutely nothing to do with drugs. It's about power, it's about control, coercion.
Used to be that they would have a debate about drug policy, and at one podium would be standing the police officer or the judge, and at the other podium would be the crazy hippie dopey guy who says that drugs should be legalized. You tended to want to side with the professional. And then we created LEAP.
Legalizing drugs, that's the message a new billboard in the metro is advertising.
And you might be surprised to hear who's funding it all.
Well, the group funding the billboard is actually comprised of current and former law enforcement officers.
An unlikely pair now backing efforts to legalize marijuana in Colorado. A retired Denver police lieutenant and a former Lafayette judge.
It may be hard to believe, but this is the face of legalizing drugs.
And now we have changed the dynamic of that debate.
The way we got rid of the crime associated with
and it would allow local governments to tax it. It's getting support from an unlikely source. Former members of law enforcement.
But first tonight, former prosecutors, former judges, those people who once enforced the law now say that marijuana should be legal.
Former Yuba County Sheriff's Deputy Nate Bradley says resources wasted on marijuana busts could be better spent elsewhere.
Should marijuana be legal? It also has a law enforcement divide.
This debate is pitting badge against badge.
Tonight, the legalize it side has some reinforcements. It comes from some folks that might surprise you.
They're going around the state with messages like the one delivered to this Rotary Club meeting in Federal Way.
Our war on drugs has failed.
James Doherty is a speaker for a group known as LEAP, or Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. He's a former prosecutor who wants voters to approve Initiative 502.
I think there are a lot of parallels between what happened here on Tuesday and what eventually happened in Prohibition back in the 20s in the United States, and it started state by state.
Neil Franklin, Executive Director of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, a 3-decade-long career in law enforcement. Sir, thank you very much for your time tonight. You speak with uncommon authority on this subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
That is what LEAP brought to the discussion, and that's why we have changed the discussion forever on this issue.
With speakers in over 80 countries, LEAP's credibility and impact are going global.
We put together a declaration and 3 resolutions to submit to the UN Narcotics Control Group. We got a lot of things in there that would have never been in there had we not been there. I mean, all about human rights, all about harm reduction, the fact that all drug use isn't necessarily drug abuse, you know.
This is a perfect example of why Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, as an organization of former police officials, criminal justice professionals, is so important to the contribution towards this caravan.
LEAP has also expanded its scope to work with those most affected by the war on drugs, as well as those willing to oppose it.
People don't expect cops and clergy to be on this side of the issue, but in fact we are.
We cannot duck this issue. I couldn't duck it anymore. I couldn't sweep if I wasn't out advocating to get rid of the war on drugs. You can't get to end the war on drugs unless you end prohibition. They couldn't do it with alcohol, and you can't do it with drugs.
They are arrested in wholesale numbers. Corner clearing operations in disregard of the Constitution are routine in my town, where under our present governor, when he was mayor, 27,000 black people on average were arrested each year without being charged with crimes.
4 decades, this year, in the war on drugs, over $1 trillion. There's our healthcare budget. Since 1985, the rate of incarceration has increased by 800%. 800% for black women.
Even in Brazil, we have in the Northeast, there is a marijuana production. And there are children working there, and you don't have labor laws if it's in any legal market.
These are actions that are happening all over the country. Police officers and organizers on the grassroots level are all coming together to say, let's put an end to this really disastrous failed war on drugs.
My name is Karen Hawks. I'm a mother, a Girl Scout leader, a Sunday school teacher, and I served as a Massachusetts State Trooper for 13 years. In Mexico, 10,000 children have been orphaned by violence caused by the illegal drug market, not by the drugs themselves.
She had a negative drug test for marijuana on a probation for shoplifting. Now she's going back to state prison. Now she's giving her children away to somebody that's going to fail, and she's going to lose her children. Is that an appropriate penalty?
Is that protecting our kids?
Is that
law
protecting our kids?
When LEAP speakers talk about the distorting, corrupting influence of prohibition on their profession, it is from firsthand experience.
We have changed. Law enforcement is no longer about being a peace officer and serving our community. It's about policing people. It engenders a disrespect for a profession that I loved, and our communities don't respect us, and they view us as occupiers.
Going after DUI suspects, enforcing domestic violence and child abuse laws. That's what makes police work noble. That's what police work ought to be directed at.
Not once in 20 years did a parent ever turn their child in for drugs. The last thought in the world was to turn this over to the police. They found other ways to deal with that problem, and we as a society should find other ways.
And the core of those other ways is that even the heartbreak of addiction should be treated as a personal or public health issue, never as a criminal one.
Insight is part of a program to bring people who are marginalized out of society back into society, back into the light of healthcare.
Take your story back to the stage so people can understand that this is a medical situation for you. This is a health issue.
The results of that are amazing. There hasn't been a single overdose death there in 15 years. Imagine all the lives that are saved. AIDS and hepatitis in that country dropped to the lowest rate of any country in Europe because they're not sharing needles anymore. Crime was cut by 60%.
That's the most important.
Yeah.
If American policemen stand up and say these things and put them on the web and have billboards on freeways, so that is really going to help, because there we are in the lion's den, if you like, and these people have guts. I respect that. When I go somewhere to speak, I always make it clear that I am a member of LEAP, and that is where I'm coming from.
If you use that money to create programs that give people hope for the future instead of removing all their hope by arrest and imprisonment, can you imagine how many fewer drug users we'd have?
It's going to take all of us in order to do it, and I just thank God for this setting and being a part of it.
www.copssaylegalizedrugs.com. That is from the archives of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. I loved that they started that segment off with co-founder, retired Captain Peter Christ, who is one of the co-founders of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. That is our 420 moment for this episode of The Marijualogist. Now, 420, pronounced 420, is a code term that refers to the consumption of cannabis, and by extension, as a way to identify oneself with cannabis, its subculture, or simply cannabis itself. The origins began with a group of teenagers, it is said, in San Rafael, California, calling themselves the Waldos.
The Waldos.
The Waldos. Because their chosen hangout spot was a wall outside of their school. They used the term in connection with the fall 1971 plan to search for an abandoned cannabis crop that they had learned about. The Waldos designated Louis Pasteur statue on the grounds of the San Rafael High School as their meeting place and 420 as their meeting time. This is part of the history of the reference 420. If you'd like more information on that, Google 420 420 into a Google search and go to Wikipedia if you like. I want to get back to LEAP and our history with LEAP as a broadcast, as a radio show, later what is now, I'd like to say, a TV show. The Marijualogist is back and in full bloom, pardon the pun. But as I reference our history with LEAP, let me give you a brief rundown on just some of the esteemed colleagues of LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, who have been participants in our dialogue about safe and legal access to this incredible medicine we know I refer to as cannabis. We'll start. Back May 2011, LEAP member Tony Nelson, retired U.S. Border Protection Aviation Marine Group Supervisor, Department of Homeland Security. Former Denver Police Lieutenant Tony Ryan joined us on March of 2011. Going back to going back to October of 2010, Russ Jones, former California narcotics detective. Miss Diane Goldstein, we designated her as the First Lady of LEAP because, in fact, she was the first woman from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition to join us on our weekly dialogue. She is a retired commander of the Redondo Beach Police Department. Diane Goldstein, probably retired by now.
Right.
Carol Ruth Silver, retired LAPD Deputy Chief. Check that. Carol Ruth Silver and retired LAPD Deputy Chief Stephen Downing joined us in October of 2010, both of them on the line simultaneously. Of course, the other co-founder of LEAP, Jack Cole, joined us back in July of 2010. Law Enforcement Against Prohibition has been a fan and supporter of this dialogue that we call the Marijualogist for many, many years. And we will be having them rejoin us, and of course some of their new members joining us live via Skype.
You know they've grown and expanded.
And for those who
Like
live in
minds.
California, at least close to Los Angeles and the LAX airport, where we have our global headquarters, that's the Talk Live Broadcast Network, they will be joining us in studio if they live in California. We will continue our advocacy and our dialogue about the safe and legal access of cannabis to not just California, but the entire globe. And I hope you enjoyed that 8-minute clip that we played for you from LEAP and their dialogue about their position as police officers, DEA agents, the tip of the spear of the drug war virtually, and how they just feel this is not making sense anymore.
Right.
How they feel that this is not an issue of criminality, but of sociology and sickness when it comes to addiction. Not with cannabis now, but cannabis does have its roots in illness to the extent that cancer patients, terminally ill patients can avail themselves of cannabis and find tremendous relief. But even in major drugs, Schedule I drugs that are, in my opinion, not safe for legalization, but as experts in their field of, again, being the tip of the spear of the drug war, they feel is not their issue to police people for their morals and their predilections, you know, what they're addicted to. You feel me?
Yeah.
We're going to have them joining us live on our show as we progress and as we resume this incredible dialogue about cannabis. And once again, may I repeat, its impact socially, economically, politically, and medically. Its impact on the globe. There are so many new states now since the last time we had this show on.
Oh, man.
That have gone legal, at least for medicinal access. The country is considering declassifying cannabis as a Schedule I drug, under whose oppression it has been held for many decades. The notion that cannabis is a Schedule I drug, Schedule I meaning like cocaine, like heroin, and everybody by now knows that's an utter and complete falsehood.
Very much so.
Cannabis, compared to those drugs,
can't compare.
Compared to cigarettes,
can't compare.
Is, once again, you like the word, less deleterious. Compared to alcohol, less deleterious to one's health and well-being than many of the things that we have in our society as so-called legal drugs.
Right.
There is even discussion to reclassify cannabis out of its oppression of a Schedule I drug into something that we are, as a society, more consciously aware is less harmful than a glass of beer.
Right.
Oh, happy day when that day comes.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here to help advocate for and help people understand. This is a show about education and helping people understand that their notions about cannabis, about marijuana, about pot, ganja, weed, whatever negative nomenclature by which you define it, describe it, or identify it, we're here to dispel the myths about it. Nothing more. To help people understand why you and I are wearing something that represents this naturally grown substance that merits the ability to wear a cross and to paint it green.
Yeah, I got people who
Think about it.
My computer is going off over here. My laptop, which is my phone, but it's going off because people are actually, tuning in and watching it. That's why I'm like corresponding on the phone right now, which normally we wouldn't do on camera, but people are wanting to chime in and tune in. So I'm hitting them up saying, call in. The people that are watching out there, I gave you the number, call in, and don't ask me questions on my text when you can ask the questions online. Call in, please. 323-473-3100.
It's time for another break. That'll give them some time to sit back, check out the music, digest the dialogue. They can get in where they fit in, but come correct.
Like the double dutch, jump in,
yeah.
Get in.
This is not a stoner show.
Not at all.
It's about educating the globe. And we are global here on LA Talk Live, the Talk Live Broadcast Network. 150 countries strong, 7 apps deep in your phone. We'll talk about that as well. I see we have a caller already.
And just because I have my sunglasses on don't mean that I'm in here.
Break. I'm actually going to skip the break, man. And let's go to that caller who has taken the time out to call us. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Rep your city or town.
This is Mike B from D-Town, baby.
Mike B from B-Town, what's going on
with you? What up, though, Mike B from D-Town?
Thank you for joining our dialogue here on The Marijualogist. What's your comment or question?
I had a question for the marijualogist. Is he in the room right now?
Yes, he is.
Well, let me answer that question this way. See, there is no marijualogist as one individual. A marijualogist is one who studies the impact of cannabis on the globe. Marijuanaologist, like biologist. There is no one biologist. There is no one psychologist. There is the marijualogist as a group of people who are going to be joining together on this global forum to advocate for safe and legal access to cannabis. I am a long-term tenured student of marijuanaology, and I'm sure Ecor in his own way is as well. But we now change our positions as recreational users of this divine plant to become true students, again, of its impact, socially, economically, politically, and medicinally.
Exactly.
So there's no one marijualogist.
Nah.
We're both marijualologists.
And connoisseurs and all that across the board.
Well, y'all might be able to help me with my question. I was wondering if you think it will happen, how long it will be before we see a United States that is free of prohibition of cannabis completely.
Yeah,
how long will it be before we see the prohibition end against cannabis? When will it be declassified as a Schedule 1 drug? When will America as a whole? I mean, you can go buy cigarettes,
liquor,
$5 to $6 a pack.
Liquor.
You can go buy
all
the booze you want to buy. You know, when are we going to be able to buy a 20-pack of well-rolled
Kush
joints?
But you know what? At that point, they're going to call it.
It is a true thing, Richard.
But you know what? To be honest with you, Mike, and out of Detroit, I was going to say that because I wrote a piece a long time ago, over 15 years ago. You know, I'm a hip hop writer, and I wrote a piece about it's called legalization, and I was speaking on how the government would change it up to like Marijualogist, which is like marijuana cigarettes, and they're going to take the potency out of it, and and then they'll have them on the. No, I was saying this is what I was saying over 15 years ago. That was my visionary. I was a visionary of it back then. But here we are with it now. I was just wondering if the government would have got involved in it, they might have called it like Marijualogist. You know, marijuana cigarettes, they would have had the symbol on the box saying, Surgeon General says that causes, which is the scare tactics, because you never heard no one speak about that in science or history of marijuana, that it causes cancer, you know, or like the Surgeon General says may cause cancer, whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what my thing to your question is, that it's on its way here. Within, like, I would say within the next maybe 3 to 5 years, it'll be here.
If I could speak to that real briefly, caller. I would say that we're about to see a society in this new era that is going to begin more and more, as we see now, to change their attitude towards this divine plant. And, you know, we are actually living in a society that's sicker than it used to be.
Oh, way sicker.
Right? So the ability for people to have safe and legal access to cannabis is going to become more of a mandate, not just at the individual level, but at the local political and national political level, just based on the fact that people are going to want to avail themselves of a natural substance as they become more aware, more conscious, less judgmental of something like cannabis, where you can smoke it, eat it, drink it,
wear it,
consume it in so many different ways, more so than all of these other big pharma solutions to common modern ailments like anxiety,
all this ADHD,
wasting disease, ADHD,
bipolarism.
I mentioned last week on our inaugural broadcast, inaugural return of the Marijualogist, that I have a friend whose father is suffering from Parkinson's, and his board-certified MD recommended cannabis as one of the subsystems to help him deal with some of the symptoms of Parkinson's.
Because it has oxygen in it as well, and it's an antioxidant on top of that, and it can, it can open up some of those brain synapses and the receptors to get the oxygen that the blood vessels need.
Triggers too, right?
Say that again, caller.
It's supposed to calm the triggers too, right?
Exactly. And I'm a sufferer of tics and nervous conditions, so it has calmed mine tremendously over the years,
And he said calm tremors, and exactly why this particular board-certified PhD recommended this for this Parkinson's patient. Now, we won't discuss that today, but we will in future episodes when we get some real experts on the line with us or in the studio with us, because, again, I'm a student. A marijualogist is a student. Marijuanaologist, like biologist. Right? Marijuanaologist, we're just students of the plant. We want to know where it goes, who it helps, what it fixes. That's what we're here to explore each and every Saturday at 4 p.m. But we're going to have some experts on to talk about the brain's built-in cannabinoid receptor system. Cannabis, cannabinoid receptor systems are built into our brains, like a key to a lock.
Right.
And this is something we had discussed.
And it opens us up. It opens that key to that lock. Once we put
a previous episode of The Marijualogist some years ago. We're just starting back. Of course, if you're tuning in for the first time this week, we just started back last week. So we're going to be doing this every week at Saturday, 4 p.m. We used to be high noon. Now we're 4 o'clock. We'll be taking our 4:20 break, not for medicine, but for education, to help people understand what it's all about.
Information.
Right, information. But the brain, as we found in our studies as marijualologists, has built-in cannabinoid receptors. Think about it.
And let's tap into that third eye. That's why we tap into the depth of spiritualness, spirituality and self when you partake in that plant. That's why, like the Indians and all those, they had the peace pipe. We know what the peace pipe was. What else were they smoking in that peace pipe?
Well, in the immortal words of Robert Nesta Marley in the background, he and Peter Tosh have a lick of something to say called legalize it. We'll listen to that a little bit as we fade out to the break. But Robert Nesta Marley, Bob Marley as we know him, said, the thing about ganja, cannabis, is that it reveals you to yourself. You feel me? So that's one of the other good things about it. We've got another caller. We're going to join this caller into our dialogue. Caller, thank you for joining us. You're tuned into The Marijualogist with E. Corder Wolf and Richard Carr. Thanks for joining us. And we've also got a caller from the Valley on the line. What's your name and where are you calling from? Rep your city.
My name's Joanne. I'm calling from Burbank.
Hello, Joanne.
Joanne from Burbank. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us here on The Marijualogist. What's your comment or question?
I'm just really enjoying the subject matter, medicinal marijuana. Best thing in the world since penicillin, in my opinion.
Well, speak on it. I'm allergic to penicillin.
I am too.
Yeah.
There
So
you
let's
go.
speak on that.
See?
So never administer it to me if we out together.
I'm allergic to penicillin.
I am too.
So I don't
That's
need
good
no
to know.
penicillin.
That's good to know.
There are so many pills. They tried to put me on Vicodin. I damaged my hip, long story short, and I've tried to do it without medical intervention. And so they had me on Vicodin and Valium and all kinds of drugs, which were making me sicker and weaker. I got off the drugs, switched to medicinal marijuana, and I'm walking today.
Well, I got to tell you, sister, it's no surprise to me. If you got your radio on in the background, be careful of that. I know we got another caller on the line as well. Are you still with us, caller from the Valley?
From Detroit. That's the caller from Detroit.
Oh,
Mike.
Detroit, really?
Yeah, Joanne is the caller from the Valley.
A word.
Hello?
Mike, you still with us?
Yes, can I just report it?
By all means.
First of all, I'm so happy to hear that she's getting some kind of relief in pain. People don't really realize how serious that is, chronic pain. As that being said, you guys do know that the Prophet Robert Desmondale's son is performing as we speak at Topanga Community Center with Raku Ulu, just for those who didn't know.
Wow.
We did not know that. Thank you, caller, for sharing that with us, Mike.
That's nice.
And and one more thing before I go, because I have to go. I've always been of the mindset that cannabis should be more closely related to the peanut than tobacco.
That's a very important distinction to make, caller, too. It really is
That's
more
very distinctive.
Yeah, it really is more connected to the peanut than it is the tobacco leaf. You're right about that.
I'm so glad that this show exists. I'm so thankful for you, for folks like you who get this word out, who are able to speak for those of us who are in pain, who don't have a voice. Thank you so much. I have to be going, but thank you again. I'll be listening in.
Thank you very much.
We gotta have you down. We gotta have you down one day when you come here from Detroit. Mike from Detroit.
Detroit represents. Stand
Represent.
up.
Joy
What up,
Road.
Doe?
Highland Park, stand up.
You guys have a good show. I got a massage. I'm going to continue with my medicinal, healthy way of getting well. Love the show. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep listening while I get my massage.
And be sure to spread the word about the Marijualogist. Saturdays, 4 p.m. exclusively here on the world leader in internet broadcast, LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
And thank you, Joanne. If you can see us waving at you, thank you
Joanne.
very much. We're waving at you right
Mama.
now. We love you out there.
Word. Man, we've got great callers already joining us here on the dialogue on the Marijualogist. We've got more coming straight ahead. In the background, the sounds of Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Legalize It. Check it now. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Leave Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. You're tuned in to LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk.
Tees and Tots, groundbreaking fashion, forward street smart designs. Tees and Tots for men, women, and boys. Visit XavierUSA.com. Once again, that's XavierUSA.com. Hubert's Lemonade, tasty, refreshing, sweet, and tart. Happiness in a bottle. Visit Hubert's Lemonade at Hubert'sLemonade.com. Once again, that's Hubert'sLemonade.com. Happiness in a bottle.
Hi, this is Sequoia Neff.
And this is Jay Rios.
And I'm Sherrod Moore.
Inviting you to join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Battle of the Sexes as we discuss his and her views on topics no one wants to touch.
Where we keep it 100% real.
And interesting.
And it is pure comedy.
So don't forget to tune in to Battle of the Sexes Mondays at 7 p.m.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio.
Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure.
This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Monday, early morning, shave your head. I reach over for my butt stash. I pop open the vial. I reach into my vial. There's nothing there in my vial. I'm contemplating, was I high and smoked up on my shit? Then was I stoned and smoked it all without not knowing it? I hop a quick, I sit and think, 1 blunt, 2 blunts, or was it 3? Can't remember if I smoked it all with company. Gotta admit the memory ain't nothing what it used to be. Oh well, that's me, I need some weed. Can't hit the shop, it's too early. Oh, why did I smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up? Oh, why did I smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up and not leave enough?
If an emergency happened or something like that, the only thing I'm packing is food in a sack. Cause it's mandatory that I gotta be stoned. Like Ice Cube said, once again it's on. It's a fucked up feeling when you're California fiending. If you smoke bud, you know exactly what I'm meaning. Open up your jar when you trip cause it's empty. But the night before you could've swore you had plenty. With no connects and don't know what to do. So you try to drink a 40 as a substitute. But it doesn't feel the same as that Mary Jane. Creeping up real slow, marinating my brain. And I've been at the bottom feeling just like a peasant. Saving all my roaches and scraping up my resin. I smoke so much weed that I sweat THC. A day without herb, I can never let it be.
Oh, why did I smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up? Oh, why did I smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up and not leave enough? Oh, I was alright as he told. Instead of packing like a pack rat, I was packing like a fat cat instead. Can't believe I did it once again. A fucked up habit that I got. I always do it to myself. I'm always smoking on my pot. I got no options, I could call a weedman from the streets. But it's a Monday and it's 6 a.m. before his peak. That's fucking weak, I need some weed. A long morning, THC free. I can't believe I got no marijuana for my brain. I always do this cause Anita Blunt's my fucking name. I need to go at 10 a.m. I pull up to the front, guess what? They're open.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Missed that deal right here. I like that song.
On that one, right?
That song hot.
A little
her
something,
voice.
something by Anita Blunt.
Anita
Oh,
Blunt.
yeah. See, what we intend to illustrate here on this show is how deep and penetrating the whole cannabis culture has gotten rooted in American culture. Again, Anita Blunt, Smoke You Up is the name of this little piece right here. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back
to the world's most informative show. This is the Marijualogist. Yes. Marijualogist. Yes, indeed. I'm your humble host and moderator, Richard Carr, joined each and every week by Ecor the Wolf, my co-host and co-producer on the Marijualogist. Rousing round of applause for you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Be sure to tune in first Fridays of every month here on LA Talk Live to catch Ecor and the Wolf's Den.
Yes.
First Fridays, 10 p.m., might be 10:30, might be 10:48, might be 11 o'clock. You just never know.
But we get it in.
Because just prior to the Wolf's Den, of course, we got the Shock Factor.
Which is always turned up.
Every Friday at 8 p.m. Off the chain. Never know when that show's going to end. He's got the longest rap out.
In rap out history. Radio history.
Any broadcast I've ever heard. But anyway, be sure to tune in every first Fridays every month for the Wolf's Den with Ecor the Wolf himself.
And every Friday on the Shock Factor.
Yeah, and Shock Factor is 8 p.m. every Friday. Check that out. Now, the Wolf's Den. Let's take a minute out and give you some props, my dude, because, we talk about the Wolf's Den. They don't really know what it is. If they're first-time listeners, first-time viewers.
Exactly.
Let's tell them a little bit about the Wolf's Den and what that's all about.
Well, the Wolf's Den is, first Friday of the month. I am Ecor the Wolf, and that's why it's called the Wolf's Den.
Oh, woo.
Play on words. Oh. But actually, every first Friday of the month, as an artist, I bring in other artists, eclectic artists from all genres, and I just allow them to have the platform, and we just showcase them to the world of our viewers, And it's like a mini concert every first Friday.
Every first Friday, a mini concert right here, live in the studios of LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network.
Some dope artists, man.
Dope artists. I mean, you talk about dope artists, and you kind of, kick that kind of lightly. But let's keep in mind, you've had some amazing, legendary artists like Medusa.
Yeah.
Who's performed on the show, in fact, with you. You and she performed together.
Exactly.
And it was one of the most amazing classic nights.
Classic. We had X-Men on here. X-Men's been on there. Platinum producer for a lot of Ice Cube joints.
That's right.
We've had Joe Beast, #1 NBA draft pick. For the NBA. He played for the Lakers and a whole bunch of different NBA teams.
I ain't seen that, brother.
I know I need to reach out to Joe Beast,
back at him. Let's
but
get him back in here.
Need to reach out to Joe Beast. But, we've had Timothy Bloom on here. We've had a 2-time Grammy Award artist. We've had Shaquem Williams, 7-time Grammy, platinum Grammy platinum producer rather.
The beast.
We've had who else I've had on there? I've had Silky Fine, platinum artist. Ecor the Wolf.
And it's live performances. Now listen, I want to take a moment out to explain to people here on the Marijualogist, because I know you don't hear this a lot, so that we can kind of get the word out to you, and you can spread the word out to your friends and family. This is a nuts and bolts radio station, but we do video, so we're TV. Our goal when we started was to change the way that people interact with internet radio, right? And we did.
We're doing that.
Our goal was set on the notion that we want to make it more tangible to the community. We're doing that when it comes to radio broadcasts.
Right.
So you can listen to us on no less than 5 different apps on your phone.
And what are those apps?
Let me give you the rundown. AHA Radio, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365. Those are 4 apps, at least, that you can listen to. You can also listen and watch by getting the Ustream.tv app.
Now we're at 5.
Now we're at 5. Now, when it comes down to our accessibility, don't count anymore. You don't have enough fingers. Put your hands down.
Let's keep it down.
Okay? TiVo Radio, TiVo Radio, Roku Radio. Understand that those are set-top digital boxes that are like Apple TV. All digital set-top boxes have, like your cable channel, be it satellite or Time Warner, have a radio section. Well, their radio sections are comprised of endless music. It might be some of your favorite music, but there's no personality. There's no interactivity. You can pick up LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'll come back to those networks in a minute. On Apple TV, TuneIn Radio, and Roku Radio, meaning you can be sitting in front of your TV. No, you will not see us, but you'll be able to hear us. And here's how we change the way that people interact with internet radio. Instead of it being a constant drone of just music and no personalities, you can call
in
and talk to the broadcasters. It harkens back to the old days of radio. Hey, DJ, won't you play my song, Keep Me Dancing all night long? Or last night a DJ saved my life
with a broken heart.
Last night a DJ saved my life. Then it comes out with a broken heart. You feel me?
Last night
we wanted to bring back to people as a radio broadcast network, the way that people interacted with radio back in the good old days.
Exactly.
Tangible, accessible, community-based, and we've done that with the radio side. Well, now with TV and video. We are here to take HBO, Showtime, CBS, ABC, NBC, TNT
Fox
viewers from them by giving them the purest in reality broadcasting. See, people are tired of watching the same old actors on different shows in the same old structured system. This is reality broadcasting, handcrafted for your listening and
viewing pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Y'all watching me right now. Y'all watching Rich right now. Can you see us?
So this is what this whole new medium is about. Now, mind you that many of you here now at 510 are preparing to hit the streets, to go out and mingle in your local cities.
Now, what do they do after that, Rich? What do they do?
They might as well pick us up on their mobile apps.
There it is.
So on those mobile apps, download the Radio Flag app or the Live 365 app or the TuneIn app or the AHA Radio app or the Ustream app to your phone. Now, if you got a fancy new car like a Tesla, one of the new Porsches, the new Mazdas, the new Hondas, some new Chryslers, the new Mini Coopers, so many new cars now are transitioning from AM and FM, which people are bored with and not listening to anymore, to internet-based broadcasting. So that means that we're picked up in cars. There's no excuse not to listen to us. We are as drive time as you are savvy, technically speaking.
Believe it.
If you're technically savvy and have a technically savvy smart car, or if in your hand right now, if you're within earshot of my voice, have a technically savvy smartphone, and God forbid it ain't a flip phone. If I see people on the bus as I come into work with flip phones, I'm like, that's not going to pick us up. But if you have a technically savvy smartphone, as being demonstrated by my colleague and co-host and co-producer, E. Quarterwolf, if you have a nice phone, you can listen to us, and there is no excuse for not availing yourself of the incredible entertainment, the incredible broadcasters, and the incredible information that emanates from this humble little broadcast network that we call LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. Now, I took a moment out to say that here because it doesn't get said enough, and because I'm here with my good friend, my brother, my son, everything that I could want in a good friend out here in this crazy place called Los Angeles, La La Land, Hollywood, whatever. Here on the Marijualogist, I wanted to take a moment out to break that down to people. There is no excuse to continue to bore yourself with the constant drone
30-minute shows
of satellite radio, because all they do is play music. There are very few personalities on those networks. And
you might be saying too much, so they might start incorporating those
If you're bored with AM and FM and the same constant drone of babbling idiots
cooler lines.
with
radio
no
free.
real personality and
radio
no
free?
real freedom to play what they want to play, then tune in to internet radio in your smart cars, on your smart devices, even if it's not just LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. Represent what you really want in content. Demand it. I remember when MTV first got started, they created a campaign where their mantra was, I want my MTV. Well, it's now our turn to demand, I want my internet radio and I want my LA Talk Live. Get it in your cars, get it on the go, walking down the block, riding the bus, the subway, the trolley, the train, wherever you are, there is no excuse. Now,
while you're blowing your trees right there.
While you're blowing your trees, bringing it back full circle to the Marijualogist.
Exactly.
You can be listening to and gaining knowledge on your rights to safe and legal access to medicinal and recreational cannabis eventually by tuning in every Saturday at 4 p.m. to this incredible show, The Marijualogist, hosted by Equal the Wolf, yours truly and humbly, Richard Carr, and Michael Bond, and a host of other incredible guests and co-hosts who will be joining us.
At LA Talk Live.
It's only our second show. You know, I kind of rambled on last week about so many different topics, but I thought this was one of the most important things to talk about this week. How people can avail themselves of this information and how they can tune in not just to this show, but to all the other great shows that we have on our network.
We have some great shows on our network.
And one last thing. Speaking of which, coming up in about 45 minutes, we've got a brand new show. Been with us going on their second month now. It's True Magazine Unplugged. True Magazine, 15 years in the hip-hop magazine publishing industry. They know everybody. Everybody. Tune in for DJ the Queen, D-Brax, the rap connoisseur himself, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. here on the Talk Live Broadcast Network. He's here, right? And also the young one themself, the one them called Ja Soul Lyrical, joins them on the panel. True Magazine Unplugged, coming up at 6 p.m. The party don't stop. Stay tuned. Keep it locked right here. Now I'm done.
That's it. You did that great, though.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? That was like a true
like a true champion. I have to do that for the people out there who are tuning in 150 countries.
And you see, he just took a breath at the end. So let you know that's what professionals do. They know how to just bam deliver it. You know, we make it look so easy, so easy.
So coming up in next week's show, we're going to be talking more about the whole concept of cannabis, the medicinal side of it. A little earlier on in the show, we talked about the brain's built-in endocannabinoid system.
Receptors.
Right? Receptors. So I pulled up a YouTube video. So this is not some esoteric, cryptic, easy, or hard to find information about cannabis, its benefits, its impact on your body. I went to YouTube, typed in cannabinoid. I have a little difficulty spelling that if you do. Cannabinoids. Yes. Type in cannabinoid into a YouTube search and learn. I'm going to play a little video clip called Cancer-Killing Cannabinoids and the Human Endocannabinoid System. Should we do it?
I just took one of my mentors today to a cancer treatment, you know what I mean? And he's doing very good. So
let's do this for them before we wrap the show out tonight.
Let's do it.
Pass out this information. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Marijualogist.
Eat
Don't
this
go
food,
away.
y'all. Eat that food right there that's coming at y'all.
In all animals, the nervous system is made of the same components. Large numbers of nerve cells carrying electrical signals. And wherever these cells meet, the signal is passed to a receptor in the next cell by a chemical messenger called a neurotransmitter. Across the brain, there are different types of these neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and serotonin. All animals, from fish to donkeys to humans, have inherited this basic structure. But way back in time, the sea squirt evolved an innovation to this system.
What happened was the nervous system acquired a new chemical, if you like, that had a new flavor, a new type of chemical. And it's this chemical that is related in structure, has a similar shape to the chemical that's found in cannabis.
Because of this similarity, these new signals came to be known as cannabinoids. Once the cannabinoid receptor evolved in the sea squirt, then it was inherited by every other vertebrate animal which followed, including us humans. It was only a matter of time before one of these creatures would encounter the cannabis plant, so that THC and the cannabinoid receptor would meet. Since it was here in Central Asia that cannabis first proliferated, it was also probably here that that first meeting took place. It's not really difficult to imagine how it happened. I mean, no one knows for sure when THC and the cannabinoid receptor first came together, but it has to have been here in these mountains. And whether it was an animal who, hungry overcame the unpleasant taste and had a good munch on a cannabis bush, or it was a bird flying around or a rodent, the first stoned animal is lost to history. In that very first stoned animal, THC from the cannabis plant flowed from its gut into its bloodstream and was carried to its brain. There it met the cannabinoid receptor evolved so many millions of years earlier in the humble sea squirt. And it just so happened to fit, like a key in a lock.
The cannabis plant grows almost anywhere. It is found in Asia, China, Malaysia. It's found in the Middle East, it's found in Africa, and it also grows, of course, in Europe and the US. It is used by hundreds of millions of people for the changes it causes in our thoughts, in our behavior, in our feeling. Till quite recently, actually, until the mid-60s, the active constituent was not known. We identified a compound, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, which is the only one that causes these changes. For many years it was unknown whether these changes are just a non-specific action of THC, but in the mid-80s it was found that there is a receptor in the brain that is acted upon by THC and starts a cascade of reactions which causes the changes that we identify as high. But how come that the brain has a receptor for a plant constituent? After all, our brain doesn't have a receptor for every plant constituent, actually doesn't have a receptor for any plant constituent. So we started working on the assumption that maybe there are compounds in the brain that act on this particular receptor, and THC in the plant actually mimics the action of the compounds in the brain. Indeed, about 10, 15 years ago, we were able to isolate two compounds. One we called anandamide, and the other is known as 2-AG, that stimulate, that bind to this particular receptor, and they start a cascade of reactions that we identify as high. Why do we have that system of receptor, endogenous cannabinoids? Why? I mean, just in order to cause high? No. This is a very important physiological system which is involved in a large number of physiological reactions and in large number of therapeutic reactions. For example, anandamide and 2-AG are involved in neuroprotection. When we have a brain trauma, for example, the brain tries to reduce the damage by overproducing, if you wish, these compounds which lower the damage. They are also involved in anxiety. it is involved in sleep, it is involved in essentially all physiological reactions that have been investigated. Chances are that this particular system will be the basis on which a large number of drugs will be developed. At the moment, there is one major drug that has been introduced in Europe. A company produced an antagonist to the cannabinoid system, and they use it in order to reduce the appetite and also to enhance metabolism of fats, so that ultimately we see an effect on obesity, an effect on all these diseases that are associated with obesity. Many other companies are working on many different aspects of cannabinoids, for example, inflammation, neurological diseases, maybe Alzheimer, and I assume that within the next 10 years we shall have a whole array of new drugs, as many companies are at present working on all these aspects.
In the shit.
Yeah, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Marijualogist. In the background was a bit of a documentary that we wanted to pull up, a little 14-minute clip. We wanted to give you a little taste of that. Cancer-killing cannabinoids and the human endocannabinoid system. We're going to be talking more about that in future shows, because your brain has built-in endocannabinoids.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a subsystem of the human body that receives the benefits of the cannabis plant and helps to medicate the patient and provide all types of relief for terminally ill patients even. What do you say to that, Rock?
I was just like, when I was just watching it just now before we came back from break, I was sitting there like, it's ridiculous how we've been, duped and told so much. This is cancer killing, cannabinoids that are found, and these doctors, showing you illustrations how the THC receptor and the THC that's embedded in our bodies, how it goes and it forms into the THC receptor as if it's like a key to a lock. And trial after trial after trial after trial. You can't go. How can you dispute trial after trial after trial of something that's right in your face, and then whatever the so-called attack dogs go beyond it and say, no, there's no cure, there's no this, and that doesn't do that. Those doctors are quacks. You know what I mean? All the scare tactics, they scare us into, with the scare tactic of not believing in the truth.
We've been sold a pack of lies.
And then some.
When it comes to
pork lies.
Classification. I hate pork.
Pork lies.
Classifications. And I hate swine.
That's why we don't cast our pearls to swine.
And the considerations and viewpoints on cannabis. Here in a country where cigarettes are legal, tobacco is legal, people die from tobacco use every day.
All the pharmaceutical drugs
single
that are legal.
Documented case of anyone dying from the use of cannabis. Absolutely unbelievable.
But yet chemotherapy and radiation.
Yeah.
And then the hair is falling out.
We are just beginning our trek up to the tip of the iceberg. Iceberg, that is. Huge, huge issue as it addresses and relates to the cannabis movement, the cannabis culture. We're just climbing, we're just beginning our trek up this ginormous iceberg to the tip of it.
And we're thankful to the World Wide Web.
Then we've got to work our way down to the knowledge and to the education and advocacy about this issue, so people can really, truly understand all of the truths about cannabis, about hemp even in this country. We haven't even begun to discuss that. We thought we would start here in August and set up a couple of pilots for you. But as this dialogue begins to unfold, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a place you're going to want to be every Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific to learn more and more and more. as America begins to age. And you out there globally who have parents who are getting older, who are in the the grips of the medical system, where they are recommending all of these big pharma solutions to your parents' ailments that have incredibly, may I say again, deleterious consequences on your parents' health. Whereas a simple plant, a little bit of herb, can change their lives in major ways. These are the type of things that we're going to be talking about here on The Marijualogist each and every Saturday at 4 p.m.
I just came up with a segment that we can do just now. You know how
Speak
we do
on it.
How we do the 420. I say at 5. I mean, well, I'm gonna say at 5:20, but anywhere we can find out, because you were speaking on how they're going to get this information that this is where they want to be every Saturday. So I said, let's come up with a because I was saying, well, this is where y'all going to come to get your head rush. Come get a head rush.
I like it.
We have a moment of this moment is the head rush moment where somebody speaks and just give us some like just ram it down our head, ram it down our throats. You know what I'm saying? It's
Bust
the head
your
rush.
head to the white meat
Bust your
with
head
some
to the
knowledge.
white meat with some knowledge. It's the head rush and get high off that.
I like it. I like it.
Get high
a
off
lot.
that.
Yeah,
We
man.
send a shout out to High Heels Kitchen as well.
Let's give them a shout out. Yeah, we're
Heels
wrapping
Kitchen.
out the
They
show.
was here last
so let 'em know.
week
Yep.
on our inaugural show, and they'll be back pretty soon. And they want to clear up a couple things so they can be back, and legal-wise, the legalities of it. And so we want to send a shout out to High Heels Kitchen.
And that's High
H-E-A-L-S.
H-E-A-L-S.
High Heels.
All medicinal products.
Heels. It's
Listen,
a healing agent, ladies and gentlemen.
Smoking cannabis is not for every patient.
Not at all.
If you are medically compromised or health compromised, the last thing you want to do is inhale any burnt matter.
Exactly.
Be it cannabis plants or any other kind of plants or anything else burning. You just don't want to smoke.
Right.
So there are what we call, and you'll hear this very often on the show, at least from my mouth, medibles.
Right.
Medical
the alternate of the
edibles.
smoke.
Right. That can be consumed
and
by
get the
people.
same effect.
And still avail yourselves of the incredible benefits of medicinal cannabis.
Exactly.
There are strips to put on the tongue, like breath strips.
Exactly.
There are sublingual drops.
They have
for
tablets,
the severely health compromised, medically compromised
oils,
individuals.
drops, tablets,
ointments, solutions of all types.
and that's what High Heels about. High Heels Kitchen. That's what they're about.
Speak on it.
They are about the internal. Because people like Rich said, everyone can't smoke because of this is your temple for one, and you don't want to invade your temple too much with smoke. So they have the alternate, which is the medibles, where they can where they cook in, and the THC level is really extremely there, ladies and gentlemen. Trust what I tell you. So they're really working with us. They're working with scientists. So they're really working on marketing and branding their product to really be on the market.
A top-notch product.
A top-notch product for health, the health purpose.
To address the needs of safe and legal access to the benefits
for those
of
that
medicinal
don't like
cannabis.
to smoke. For the ones that don't want to smoke.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of people that
Not
don't
for
smoke, but they'll
everybody.
eat it and be like, wow, I'm feeling good.
I like it. I like it a lot. Let's talk about our sponsor for tonight and every week here on The Marijualogist.
GreenCrosses.com.
Cross. Yeah, man.
Check it out, y'all. Website soon coming. GreenCrosses.com. And then everything else to follow that. You'll be looking out for my medibles as well.
And they can hit you up at ecore@latalklive.com.
Yes, you can.
That's your email address, ecore
IKKOR
at latalklive.com to request their own
Green Crosses
Green
tea.
Cross tea. Yeah. See us? Stand up tall now, brother.
Stand up
Now
tall.
stand tall. Yeah, man. There it is.
Right there.
All right, there you go. Sit back down now. All right,
Matching
ladies
it.
and gentlemen,
Matching
that's
that
our
mic.
show for the week. This episode of The Marijualogist. Next week, be sure to tune in again, 4 p.m. in our new time slot, 4 p.m. Pacific, here on the world leader in internet broadcast. This is LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. We're going to continue to play some music. Before we go, though, I want to bring in the host and co-producer of the next show. That's True Magazine Unplugged, coming up at 6 p.m. They're back tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. Going to bring her in. Enjoy the music. We'll be right back. Don't go away. The Marijualogist is done, but coming up in less than a half hour, True Magazine Unplugged. Going to bring in DJ The Queen to talk about what they got going on tonight. Stay tuned for that. We'll be right back.
As if smoking little herb star. Officer, it's just a little herb. Oh yeah, it's just a little herb star. It's just a little herb star. I've been saving. Ooh, just a little herb. It's just a little herb star. It's just a little herb star. I've been saving. That I've been saving. That I've been saving. All night, alright. Smoke with my brethren and feel alright. Oh now. I've been saving. I've been saving.
All right, folks, that's a Marijualogist for this week. Be sure to stay tuned next week at 4 p.m. for an all-new episode and the return of Mike Bond, the secret agent of the Marijualogist. He's on assignment this week.
On assignment out there.
If you're tuning in still for the Marijualogist, you're going to see this beautiful woman sitting to the right flank of E. Quarter Wolf. Her name is DJ the Queen. No, she's good right where she is.
Oh, she is? Can you see her?
Yeah, leave her right there. Yeah,
See, he just wanted me to be closer to him.
I wanted to be closer to me. That hairstyle got
you
me.
You're looking so special tonight, girl.
Thank
so
you.
we've got the return of True Magazine Unplugged. You guys had a hiatus last week.
Yes.
All good. On assignment, doing some real big things.
Absolutely.
Now you're back.
Yeah.
The Rap Project, host and producer himself, D-Brax is going to be joining us again tonight, the rap connoisseur.
Absolutely.
You've got
Soul Lyrical.
Yeah, Soul Lyrical, my bad. Joining you as well. What's coming up tonight on the show?
Tonight we have Bishop Lamont returning to give us some freestyle tip stuff, like amazing. He's coming out with a new project. And then we have DJ Artistic, who's an international DJ and also official DJ of McDonald's, calling in and blessing our show with his presence. And then we have our usual Saturday Cypher, and we have Joey Styles coming on, and he's really dope. Really dope. So.
Nice stuff. Y'all coming up in a little bit less than 25 minutes, in fact.
T-minus.
T-minus 25 and counting down. It is True Magazine Unplugged with DJ the Queen, the rap connoisseur himself, D-Brax, and So Lyrical. I got it. Word. Stay tuned for that, y'all. More incredible programming coming straight ahead here on the world leader in internet broadcasting. This is LA Talk Live. You know what it is. It's more than just talk. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Yeah.